Have you ever wondered why money is the number one reason why people divorce? That's what we're talking about on Coffee with the Queens today with Valentine's Day looming. You don't want to miss this one. Stay right there.
Welcome to Coffee with the Queens, empowering you to grow and protect your cash credit castle and kingdom. Have you ever heard the phrase, get your ducks in a row, and you feel like you haven't done that? We share learned lessons and practical advice to help guide you to a life of financial freedom. Empowerment is key. So grab your coffee and crown and let's get to it. Take it away, Queen Tammy.
Hello.
Good morning.
Happy near Valentine's Day.
I know. I can't believe it. It's 2 months in this year. It's going crazy. So what do you have in your coffee? Do you have coffee or tea?
Water.
Tea. Water.
I got Mexican hot chocolate.
Cool. Oh, you totally one-upped us.
Valentine's Day. That is so on Valentine's Day.
So what are you guys doing for Valentine's Day or week or weekend? Anything special?
We just celebrated with a little trip because I think my hubby might be out of town on the actual day. So we just did a little trip up to Chip and Joanna Gaines' little, I wouldn't say little compound, big compound in Waco. Very fun. If people want to go, I would suggest it. It's a fun little getaway for a day or two.
How fun. My daughter's in gymnastics, which in her competition is 2 hours away in a quaint little town. So we're going to take that day and just have a nice brunch and kind of tour around as a family. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we are actually going to get in a car and get out of the Bay Area for the first time in now 11 months. And we are journeying down to Palm Springs, Los Angeles, and San Diego to the warmth.
Woohoo! We're going to see you soon, hopefully. So Angel woke up. We both woke up a couple days ago, and Angel turned around to me and says, "What do you want to do for Valentine's Day?" And I said, "You got a fever?" Because he normally doesn't ask things like that. I said, "I don't know. What would you like to do?" He said, "How about going for a walk on the beach?" And I said, "Oh my gosh, he's so romantic now. How did that happen? This is great." I said, "I'll take it. Let's do it."
That is incredible. You know what? What a great lead in to our giveaway today. So just a quick reminder, everybody, please engage. We have the most amazing giveaway, which will help you with Valentine's Day ideas. More to come. Make sure you're commenting on Digital Duchess page or our YouTube page. Make sure you're subscribing there so you don't miss a show and any free giveaways. We love to share the love. So ladies, quick question. We talk about finance here and personal finance, and that's not always the funnest thing. But, our opening, money is the number one reason that couples don't make it or relationships have problems. And I thought, let's talk about it. That's what we do here. Talk about things we don't normally talk about. And money is not something we openly talk about. How do you share your finances or in your relationship? How do you manage your money in your relationship to keep a very even keel? And it's such a big topic. So I want to throw it to you ladies. How do you guys work it? Do you keep separate accounts? Like, how do you do it?
Secrets to financial conversations that don't blow up. Well, it's, in essence, when you're coupling, you are bringing two totally different people into the same relationship, sometimes with money, where you're sharing an account and you're sharing a household responsibility with the finances. And so I know Dave Ramsey, shout out to him for all of his great advice on how to handle this. We went through his course years ago, and he said, you have to start having weekly money meetings. Well, whenever we would discuss money, it would get really heated. Because we had two different attitudes about things and two different mentalities that we had since we were kids, right? We start getting our value wrapped around money when we're little. And so we bring all of this into the relationship and expect that to be smooth. So Dave Ramsey's advice is during our weekly money meetings to limit, he says to everybody, limit it to 11 minutes. And the reason is that when we would go to 12 minutes, I would discover that it would get heated, somebody would get angry and or start crying or both. So we would go to 11 minutes and then we would just cut it off. And it worked great. So it really made you prioritize what you had to talk about. And then you could have another meeting if you didn't cover everything, but we limited it in time so that we would kind of be able to get through it without getting heated. It works.
It's really good advice. Nice.
Wow, that's a great idea. You know, I'm going to start using this thing. And we're talking.
You have all the
Well, that's it. Time's up. Okay. That's great. I love that. No, we have separate accounts. Yeah. And I like it that way because, you know, I've been so independent all my life that I like to know my money's right there. And then when we go out to eat and stuff, of course, he pays. He's the gentleman and stuff. But yeah, I like it that way.
Well, you know, one of the things when I married my husband, and one of the reasons I know what I'm getting for Valentine's Day, because we have a joint American Express card. I am the authorized user. He is the account owner, but I get the emails. It says over a certain amount. I know he bought me flowers for Valentine's Day because it came into my email. But forgetting that,
it was supposed to be a surprise. Oops.
Yeah. So but when I first got married and before I became a certified estate planner, I have to admit that I wasn't familiar with the difference between when you open up a credit card account, the difference between the person who applies for the card, which in this case was my husband, who's owned this account for so many years, I didn't want to tell you. And he added me as this authorized user, but I learned as a certified estate planner that there was a huge difference in those two terms. And what we teach in Ducks in a Row, we encourage everybody to have your own credit card account. And so I have done that. I have actually gone out and applied for 3 credit cards using my own credit. But right now, my credit's attached to him, and he has great credit. So we go together. But if you have to apply after a divorce, after a death, then it's your own credit profile that's going to be used as you apply to become, unquote, the account owner of a new credit card.
Good to know.
That's really good to know. Yeah.
I
had questions about
it
that.
didn't say what kind of flowers it was, but I know I'm getting flowers.
I just want to hop on that comment quickly, just so our audience learns a little bit. So an authorized user is a great way for another partner in the relationship to build credit. But then, you know, when one partner passes, you know, you have to think about that. So it's always good to establish credit in both of your names. Each one of you should have credit, and you might want to do that while you're together before, you know, something would happen and there's a transition, so that you're not kind of left hanging. And
the other thing, Tammy, that we talked about was divorce. Like the stories of you go out to use the credit cards and all of a sudden they don't work. It's because you were the authorized user and now all your credit's gone.
Yep. And that, you know, that's the answer to my question about how we manage money in our relationship, because I have been that wife standing at the grocery aisle with a cart full of groceries and nothing left on the card because he decided to go spend it on whatever and forgot to tell me in a joint account. So enough of that. So we have separate accounts.
See, back to the tears. That's why I told you it comes back to that sometimes.
Yeah.
We know, I think this is a great way for us to introduce our first guest today, because he is, now this is great too, because not everybody watching the show is currently married or permanently connected with somebody, you know, and so you may be still looking for the love of your life. So we want to bring in our first guest who specializes in goal setting and sales. So Eric Lofholm has taught his proven sales systems to thousands of professionals around the world. He is president and CEO of Eric Lofholm International Incorporated. This is an organization that he founded to professionally train people on the art and science of selling. So he is an expert in sales and, as we said, goal setting, which is why we had him on our special New Year's show. So if you haven't seen the first show with Eric, please go back and watch that, because it is still only the second month of this wonderful year. And we have a lot of things that we know you can accomplish. So please go and check out that show as well. So you're wondering, what can this guy, sales and goal setting expert, tell us about love? Well, let's find out, because I know that he set some goals to actually find his wife. So for you single people, we may give you a couple of ideas here. Hi, Eric. Welcome.
Hello, Eric.
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for the invite.
So tell us a little bit. I know I kind of let in there that you and I think the last time you were on, we discovered we did the same thing to get our spouses. The same technique. Do you want to share with us how you set that goal and achieved it?
Yeah, I was in my first marriage, over 20-year marriage. And we had, at the time that we split up, we had 2 young kids. And so here I am. I went from this beautiful home with my family, and now I'm in this little apartment with my 2 kids, and I was not living the life that I wanted. And so I created a vision to recreate my family. And so then I thought about, well, what would be the right type of partner to recreate my family? And so it'd be somebody about my age who has kids, who was likely divorced. So we had something in common and we could raise our kids together. And so I wrote all this down. And I took my sales and my goal setting skills, and I went and I applied it to love, and voila, I was able to manifest the perfect woman for me.
So when you were going on these dates, Eric, I mean, I know for me, I had the list in my head. You didn't actually carry it with you, did you? Like hold it up in front of them and put check marks? That would be a little obvious.
I didn't do that, but it was great about being clear on what I was looking for. Because I remember there was one woman that I was dating, and she lived a couple of hours away, and I wasn't going to move. That was a non-negotiable because I wanted to keep my kids in the school system that they were in. And it became apparent she was not going to move to where I lived. And so there was really no point to continue on with the relationship, even if it checkmarked all the other boxes, because that's not what I wanted. And so then I ended up, when I ultimately found my wife, she checkmarked all the boxes and then 6 more boxes that I hadn't even created. It was just like a mind-blowing thing. And, we could talk about finances in a little bit. Like we were compatible financially, which is not something that I wrote down. And my first wife and I, we just, argued about money all the time. And so it was just a total God thing that happened, but it was getting clear. So when she showed up, I knew it was her.
I love the financial aspect that the 2 of you had to align. That's good.
Really
that happened organically. Like that, I didn't say up front, but it just, having been married for as long as I had, and then dating for a while, and there's a compatibility that's either there or it's not. And marriage is such a complex relationship because we've got finances and we're living together, and we're in my case, she has kids, I have kids. That means I have an ex-wife, she has an ex-husband, and there's all these dynamics. And then you want to be attracted to each other, and it's a very complex relationship. And if you can find somebody that you're compatible with, man, that's a wonderful, wonderful thing.
So can you share what was on your checklist to know you were quote unquote financially compatible?
Well, that wasn't on the list, but the things that were on the list, I had an age range because at the time I was in my mid 40s, and I didn't want to be with somebody in their 20s because, like, what would we talk about, right? So I wanted somebody about my age, and I wanted somebody that was divorced because I was divorced, and so we could have that in common, and she would understand about my dilemmas with my ex-wife and so forth. And I wanted somebody with children. And of course, somebody that I was attracted to. And I also put down an entrepreneur because I'm an entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Cool. And I wrote down the word evolved. I wanted somebody who was evolved in their thinking, that like little things wouldn't, set her off, like have to argue about nonsense. That's how I would think about it. And so then when I dated in the beginning and she didn't show up, it was clear. But then when she showed up, I knew within a week that I wanted to marry her. And I didn't tell her that because I didn't know how to like scare her away. Like, what do you mean you already know? But I knew that quickly. And I applied my salesmanship before I proposed to her. I said to her about a month in advance, I said, just out of curiosity, if I was to propose to you, what would you say? She said, I would say yes. I said, okay, that's good to know. So, I didn't want any surprises, when it came to proposing.
I was afraid you were going to say you had a slideshow presentation. Like,
we invite you to the webinar.
Nice.
Oh my God. Now, as a blended family, do you find that your finances are little, does it mesh well, your finances?
It meshes well because of who she is and how I show up in the relationship and how she shows up. So we don't argue about money ever. I mean, there's no point, right? You either have the money to pay the bills or you don't. And arguing about it is not going to create any money. But that has more to do with our personalities. You know, some man-woman relationships, there's a lot of conflict. It's just in the nature of the relationship, and that's going to bleed over into finances. So we have a joint account. I have an account. She has an account. You know, she primarily handles the expenses for her children, and I do. And then we have our shared expenses, and she has what she's expected to bring into the joint account and vice versa. And fortunately, we're both in a place in our careers where there is enough money. We haven't ever had a time where we had to didn't have the money to pay the bills, which I had that with my first wife because I was just becoming an entrepreneur, early on. And there were a lot of tough, lean times financially, which adds a tremendous amount of stress to a relationship. So that's the way that we do it.
I love that, but digging a little bit deeper, I love joint and then separate. That's just like the best of both worlds in my world.
Yeah, and there's no control. Like her money is her money. And if she spends money on something I think I wouldn't spend money. I don't ever criticize her for that or vice versa. And I'm a very independent person. So I need my freedom with what it is that I'm doing. And I don't want her well, why are you buying that? It's well, it's out of my account. What does it matter? So we don't ever have that conversation because of the way it's set up. And we have separate finances and it's, again, it has more to do with our compatibility. Could somebody else model that? Maybe not, because if they just kind of argue over things, again, that's going to bleed over into the finances. And to expect to not have money conflict is not realistic in a lot of relationships.
That is, just so valuable, the things you're laying down here. So thank you. One last question. Being a blended family, when it comes to sort of end of life planning, what if something happens to you? What if something happens to her? Have you gone down that whole estate planning scenario and worked through all that with trusts and things like that?
It really is a current conversation. And we actually were recently talking about all that. It needs to be set up. The instructions need to be clear, because if one of us passed right now, the instructions are not clear and there's life insurance involved, and where does the money go? And so what you're saying is a really, really important conversation and something that's towards the top of our list right now.
Perhaps
probably not a date night lead-in, Sorry.
Drawing back to this and the issue of blended families, in the world of estate planning, the number one business opportunity is litigation of blended families when someone dies, because your children are a little bit young, but when you have kids in their 20s and their 30s, they cannot believe that, their father left all their money to their stepmother. Okay. And it's the number one litigation in estate planning today, because people don't make the right plans, or they don't leave the right instruction, and they don't let people know before what's happening. So
that's a really important point. Yeah. And I think a lot of people have their head in the sand about money, and they don't want to talk about death and what happens when we pass. Yeah. And with the blended family, you make a phenomenal point for all the listeners there.
Got it.
Well, I think it's more than important now than ever with this pandemic going on. People really have to focus on different things now for their lives.
Yep.
Eric, you mentioned that when we first asked, how do you handle money? And you said you gave great credit to your wife and how she is, So what I took from that, correct me if I'm wrong, is you probably have very similar values in many aspects of life, but particularly around money. So your money mindset must be pretty similar, your values around money?
Yeah, we're both excited about wealth building and wealth building together. And we have a vision for our wealth. And my wife's really interested and involved in the stock market. I'm not so much, but she handles that particular piece of our finances. And it's kind of cool that she's really motivated to get educated around that. And so, she'll tell me, hey, here's what we made in the stock market today, which is kind of a neat thing. And there's a shared vision of the future that we want to have together. And so, that I'm a big guy on vision. I really believe in vision and the importance of it, and especially in a marriage. hopefully the couples has a vision that they're always going to be together, and they're excited to build finances together, and they have financial goals.
And that's something that I was just about to point out, and you pointed out yourself, that vision is one of the main things that you do in your, it's what you obviously you walk your talk, but it's also part of what you teach. So if the folks watching want to follow up with you, other than watching our New Year's Eve show, which is a great way you can get to know Eric, what's a great way for them to be able to look at you, find you? And I know that you constantly have trainings that are going out there, and some of them are actually available online and very easy to sign up for. Where do they find you?
Yeah, I'm the only Eric Lofholm in the world. So if you Google me, everything you see is going to be me. I'm on all the social medias, LinkedIn, YouTube channel, Facebook, and we do a lot of free training. So my area of expertise is sales training. So if you're an entrepreneur, you're in business, and you want to get motivated, increase your sales, I can definitely help you. And you can just ping me on Facebook or LinkedIn, or just find me on those social media platforms and connect. We got all kinds of great ways to support entrepreneurs and business people.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Just valuable information.
I want to share one last thing, and this is for all the single folks that are out there.
Yes.
Is that somebody else has the goal to help you achieve your goal, whatever the goal is. So if you're looking for a spouse, if you're looking for a life partner, if you're looking for a soulmate, they're looking for you. And so if you have that optimistic mindset versus the mindset of, I'm never going to find love, there's no one for me, instead of looking at it like that, have an optimistic mindset that somebody else has the goal to help me achieve my goal. So as I was looking for my soulmate and my future wife, my mindset was always, she's out there. I just haven't met her yet. And then eventually she showed up, and then I knew. But if I didn't have the optimistic mindset, I probably wouldn't have been out dating in the first place. And if you want to find a companion, you kind of have to go out on some dates. And so for me, it all came back to drinks or coffee. It was like taking a woman out for drinks or coffee. Is there a spark? Is there a connection? Is there any synergy here? And I went on a bunch of those. And sometimes there wasn't, sometimes there wasn't. But then eventually when I met my wife, it's like, I just knew. But I had to put myself out there. And so if you're watching this right now and you're like, I want a soulmate, but you're not putting yourself out there, how are you going to find them, right? So you got to put yourself out there, be optimistic, and set a goal. It worked for me.
So visualize, make a list of all the things that you are looking for, which I actually derived that list from all the people that had qualities that I didn't like. I chose the opposite quality and put it on the list. Right, Eric?
Right.
If they were childish, then I want somebody who's evolved. That's kind of how that works out. Right. And then, of course, the final thing is get yourself in action. Great advice from you, Eric. Thank you.
That's it. You got it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here, Eric. We always love having you here, and we have to bring you back, definitely, with your wife.
All right. Sounds good. I'll invite you next time.
Thanks, Eric. We know we got to let you go. Thank you so much for being here. Well, you guys, I'm laughing because he reminded me of when I was single, all those years that I was single. I got married, to my husband well into my 30s. So I was single a lot, and we had these horrible stories. And I remember every Valentine's Day trying not to be depressed, but I did end up calling it like Black Thursday, Black Friday, whenever it was my attitude really did go down the drain for a couple of years there. Yeah. But here we go. Single people, have faith. There's somebody out there looking for you as well.
And I didn't get married till I was 49. So yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And he was looking for you the whole time.
That's what he says. He said, he's from Mexico, and I used to work in Mexico. He says, "Why didn't you find me?" I said, "I didn't even know you. You were only 9." Yeah, he's younger than me.
That's funny.
Theme here is empowerment, the positive attitude, optimism,
Exactly.
which is something we always talk about. So I just love his advice.
I wanted to ask him about his goals when he was looking for his wife. Did were all the qualities there? You know, I was wondering, like, was there one missing, or they were all there?
He said they were all there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And for me, I did the same thing. And so when I knew my husband, but I didn't apply the list to him. So funny. I had total blinders on, which is okay. Cause it was God's timing. It was perfect. But at one day I actually did apply the list to him. And I remember, ironically, I was following him down the freeway. And I'm now following him, which is funny because he asked me out for 3 years, and I'm now following him, and I'm applying the list that was in my brain. I'm like, well, he has all of them except for one. He wasn't blonde.
Oh,
So I thought I wanted a blonde, and ended up marrying tall, dark, and handsome. So there are some things that you can have a little leeway with, I guess.
And sometimes when you switch it up, because I did the opposite too. I married the opposite looks wise of what I normally go for. And it ended up being the great one. So
yeah, the right one. Exactly.
So we should switch gears, girls. We have another incredible guest on
Yay,
deck, don't we? So Hela, you want to introduce your friend?
Yeah, is she in the back?
Yep, she's with us. She's
no
ready to go.
Okay, great. Well, okay. So, I think that we can all agree that one of the keys to a great relationship is feeling empowered. And our next guest is certainly that. Please welcome Sylvia Chavez, the Love Queen.
Yay.
Hello, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, ladies.
And you brought your handsome husband. Hello. Hello.
Thank you very much.
Great to have you here. Oh my God, this is so cool. Okay, so Sylvia, now that you have found the love of your life, how do you keep your finances in order? I know, I'm just jumping in.
Oh my God, I love it. I was listening to Eric, and it was such a nice story and so romantic. We just have one account for everybody, for both of us, and then we have our business account. I have my own, and because it's easier to do things, and he has his own. But money is not a subject at home. It's not a hard subject. I was listening to Sandra and everybody, and money for us is just another energy. We learned that because basically, when we are from Argentina, and when we came from Argentina, we needed to shift our mindset about money.
How did you do that? Tell us more about that. How did you do that?
Because in Argentina, it's different. It's more about a scarcity than abundance. And once you get to USA, it's like everything is so abundant. You go places and everything is big and everything is so luxury. And we needed to change our mindset, not only about the reality, but our upbringings too, because at home it was always like, you got to earn the money. Money's hard. Money doesn't grow on trees, all these things. And we both came from kind of the same family styles. So we needed to shift, and it took us a while to shift that. For me, at home, we didn't have money when we grew up. It was really scarce, but we had lots of love. So my parents used to say, don't worry about money because we have love. So for me, money was the opposite of love. So I needed to shift my mindset to think that money is love too. So now we learn after 4 years, 5 years, we are okay. But we're still growing. I think that, it's always something else to grow and something else to keep shifting. So, but that's our reality about money and finances. So, yeah.
So let's say there's challenging times, right? Like one thing that we know about 2020 is anything can happen. So what if you did, fall on hardship suddenly? Is there a secret that you have to sort of just power through?
Yeah, absolutely. When one of us is down for money or for anything, what we do is that, like, I know he's amazing at what he does and he feels the same way about me. So it's everything about empowering him, the other. And I believe him and he believes me. So when I tell him, you're going to be okay, this is going to be great, no worries, you're going to get it. He believes that and he does it. And in my case, it happens the same. So we are such a way friend. He's my best friend, you know. So when your best friend tells you you can do this, that's it. That's all you need, right? And actually, we believe so much in each other, and we've been through a strong process of coaching together. So that really set up in a place where we don't fall into the victim mentality. We don't allow the other one to fall in that, and we really call each other as yes, you know. So yeah, communication and empowering.
So there is a possibility. I accept responsibility for that ringing. Let me guilty. Even though my phone is on silent, it does chime through the computer. Welcome to live, y'all. I'm curious, though. First off, we want to share with people why you are known as America's Love Queen. Explain that, your business to us, what you do, and then I want to know if you guys see the same. Do you understand business goals the same way? Is that any source of conflict, or how does that work for both of you?
Awesome. Let's. If I forget the second, I will ask you again.
Yes.
Why I became the America's Love Queen is because I'm in a mission to show women what extraordinary love is. And I say extraordinary because somehow, and that's unfortunate, I have to distinguish the word love, to the one that's good. I think that love is amazing, it's beautiful, it's simple, it's everything good. But many times it's confused. We've been taught that, all the things, media, songs, even Disney World, screwed us up, with the story about the princess and all that. So extraordinary love for me is that, that is simple, it's nice, it's romantic every day, it's 100% of the times. And sometimes I say, hey, 100% of the times? Yes, because we create every single day since the moment that we wake up. So, and I decided that I wanna share this with every woman. And so every time I have a client, she's gonna become the queen of her life. So I'm the America's Love Queen. Yes, exactly. It doesn't look as well as it looks on you ladies with my. So, but basically is that I want every woman to feel that it's the queen of her queendom and that she owns her life. She owns her story. She can write the story she wants. And in my case, my story goes beyond my wildest dreams. When I met him, I never in my wildest dreams imagined that I was going to be like this now after almost 16 years, So that's what I tell my clients. You don't even know what I'm talking about yet. So that's why I became America's Love Queen, because I want to reach all America, and then it's going to be the world's love king, because queen, I'm sorry, not king, queen, he's my king. So that's why I became America's Love Queen. Yes, I think that we women need all that. The story showed us that we haven't been very well treated through all these centuries and millenniums. So it's time to shift.
So the second half of that was basically asking about the business goals. So let's just say, does your hubby support you in your business goals? Does he have a clear vision for that as you support him? Does he do the same for you?
Yeah, absolutely. We always did business together until I decided to become America's Love Queen. He's a musician. He plays the saxophone. That's how I fell in love with this sexy man when he was playing the saxophone there. It was so magic.
Your own personal Kenny G right there at your side.
Yeah. No, better than Kenny G.
Better.
So, we support each other, and it's like it's this encouragement all the time to go for more. It's like there's no limit. I know he has no limit, and he knows I do. I don't have a limit too. So it's all the time supporting each other. And we are very free. Our relationship is super free because I believe that love is freedom. So if I have to stay 3 days in my room on a seminar or working, he's fine. He's happy for me. And if he has to go and play every night, which he does from Thursday to Sunday, every single night, and I'm happy for him. I'm extremely happy. It's like, yes, because he is fulfilling his dreams. So yeah, it's this is when you want the best for the person you love.
Right.
I love that you and I just want to point this out to our viewers that you mentioned earlier that money is love. And when you change the way you looked at money like that, but you also just said that love is freedom. So therefore, it's like that math class where A equals B equals, right? Then money is freedom. Love is freedom and money is freedom because they're actually the same thing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah,
Wow.
absolutely. That was awesome, Sandra.
Yeah, that's a mic drop moment. Okay.
That's a writer downer.
Husband, what is your name?
Alejandro.
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 Nice to meet you. So what is the one thing that attracted you so much to Sylvia when you first met? What was...
I'm going to translate, okay? ¿Qué es lo que más te atrajo de mí cuando me conociste?
Lo primero que vi fue su cara.
My face, the first thing he saw. 17 years ago, you know.
Y lo natural que era ella.
That was so natural, you know.
Yeah.
No hablo inglés. La conocí en un escenario y, bueno, uno cuando sube al escenario suele ser muy superficial y ella no directamente. Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Yeah, he was on the stage, and that's when he saw me. And then I jumped into the stage to sing. And what he's saying is I was just natural, you know. Hey, hi, how are you? No any attitude or, yeah, because women sometimes we have that, you know, like. Yeah, right? But I was natural. That's what he was attracted to me.
That's awesome.
Fantastic.
Now, were you both married before or never married?
No, he was single.
Mm-hmm.
He was a bachelor. No kids. Nothing. He was himself, the bachelor life. I was divorced. I had been married before for 20 years. Kind of the, you know, Eric's story. And I have 4 kids when I met him. And he was 5 years younger. So I didn't have any list as Eric did, you know. I didn't have any list. And when we met and we started talking, it was like, no way, you know. This is no way. Next, you know.
But it worked out.
Yeah. Both of us. Like for him, imagine single and me, 4 kids. 4. Now we have 5 because we have a daughter together.
Oh,
so,
congratulations.
We really had this, I mean, it was meant to be. And from the moment that we saw each other, it was like magic. And it's a long story. I know we don't have such a long time for the story, but yeah, we really feel that from the moment we saw each other.
You mentioned that you have children. So together, how do you represent money and the value behind money to your kids? What are some messages that you give them?
The message, because we are both entrepreneurs, is that you can create whatever you decide to create. So when it comes to money, it's like, okay, you need money, you go and find a way to create it. And because that's how we do it. We're very kind of crazy, you know, like we don't count too much. I know Kathy's gonna say, hey, think about it. But for us, money is an energy that it's abundant. That's what I said. I tell my kids, money is abundant. So our daughter, she's 14. She has a little shop on Mercury, and she sells things. She buys things and she sells, and she's been doing this for the last 3 years.
Wow.
She has that entrepreneurial mind, and that's how I feel that I want them to be independent about money, you know, that money is freedom, like you said, Sandra. Money is freedom, and nothing that is attached to something, because the attachment is what really hurts. When you are attached to money, when you're attached to your husband, when you're attached to your house, and freedom is a spirit thing, you know. It's like you take money, you enjoy money, and of course I want to be a millionaire because there's so many things that I can do with that money. you know, and it's not just about spending it. It's about, imagine if I remember reading this book and I want to be the person who can sign the biggest check on the place and just to give away to this home for kids or home for women, you know?
Yeah.
I love
Awesome.
that. I love that. Kathy,
Anything else you want to pick her brain with?
Yes, Kathy had a couple questions for you as well.
Yes.
Right. So I think I'm sort of back to where Sandra was, that somehow this relationship, I mean, we can all say, well, money's not important. And if you read, you know, the secret lives of the millionaires, most of them live below their means. But at some point, when you're out speaking to a lot of the women that you're talking to, how much does how they feel about themselves, if that's the right word, impact where they're going and how they get there?
No, absolutely. Most of the women that I speak, or my clients, I would say most of the women, you know, they don't feel good about themselves. They feel unworthy. They feel not good enough. That's the two of the biggest ones. And when I tell them, hey, you're powerful, you're the creator of your life, they look at me like, really? You know, what are you talking about? And money is another area. You know, money and love has a very similar energy.
Right.
So, you know, if you don't feel worthy, if you don't feel capable, it's how are you going to make money? And I have many clients that they start working with me. Of course, everything starts from yourself. You know, it's not like I'm going to attract the love of my life just by going out. No, that's not going to happen. You got to do the work. You got to heal your heart. And once they start healing, you know, as they start seeing themselves as powerful, they start also succeeding in their work or in their business.
So do you, as part of the interactions with these women, do you provide any type of, I'll call it financial literacy for a lack of a better word, but do you help people understand money and certain things that they should or should not be doing to protect themselves and grow their personal money, or not?
No. I don't work in that area. No. I know they're experts on that. I work most on the inner space, and of course money comes out. Like I have clients that are getting divorced, and when they're getting divorces, I went through a very hard divorce. You know, I usually say, hey, you gotta check with somebody that knows better than me. You know, with a professional. And if this is the case, but usually I work with women that are independent and they already have their money or their business. You know, that's mostly the clients that I have. But if I have somebody that's in that space, then we talk about money. Absolutely. Money is super important.
Right.
You know?
And I think the bottom line is it's self-worth. You know, you have to know that you have self-worth and you have all the opportunities to make money as well. But you have to know yourself.
So we agree with you, Sylvia. Our program Ducks in a Row has, you know, we have talk about empowerment in really every chapter of that course. And basically what we're agreeing with you on is simply that if you think that you are not worthy, you won't be able to ask your worth. You won't be able to really step into that space that is your destiny. And that's what you help people do. You help people find love, but you also help them find themselves so that they can reach their destiny and what they're designed to do. So we honor you and thank you for being here and sharing.
Of course, our pleasure.
Exactly.
Thank you, Alejandro.
We're going to have you both on at another show, like a couple show. That would be so much fun.
Absolutely. And you can bring your husband, Soheila, so they can.
Yes. Definitely.
So nice to see you, ladies. And thank you very much for inviting me. And happy
Nice to see you.
Valentines.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh,
They're
fun.
awesome. They're so, what a great
fun.
couple.
Right?
They're awesome. So we have a special giveaway, right, Sandra?
Yeah. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Because one of the things that people search around Valentine's Day is how do you celebrate the one that you love? And I know Kathy said you already know that your hubby got you flowers, right?
Yes.
But there are other ways that you can do things. And so we kind of put out to our friends and fans, we did a couple of surveys and said, what are some unusual things that you have done with like a romantic date that didn't cost? I asked initially for nothing. So I can say they're not all free in this little book that we're giving away today, but they're nearly free. So there are 8 great ideas for romantic dates that are free or nearly free. And it's just a fun little, download that you can take a look at, get some ideas, and maybe do them all in one weekend. Let's see. Yeah.
I'm texting it right now.
Yeah. It's up on the screen, and you can just text the word book to that and get free date ideas and have some fun playing with those over the next weeks. They celebrate Valentine's Day for a whole week. Why not?
Oh, look at this.
Look at this.
Catherine says her wedding anniversary is on Valentine's Day this year. Yay!
Awesome.
There you go. Download that.
We got engaged on Valentine's Day.
You did?
We did.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. And Alan also got a speeding ticket on the way to the restaurant. It's a very funny story.
That's terrible. Well, did you tell the police he couldn't get out of it? Didn't you say?
Alan was this close, because the guy even said, he looked at us in the car and he goes, "I'm not interrupting a first date, am I?" And Alan had the ring, and he just wanted to step out and show the guy the ring to get out of it. But of course, you step out of the car, that's threatening, right? And he didn't want to blow it. So short of asking me right then and there, on the side of the road, which would have been really memorable, actually.
I bet you would have got out of that ticket.
What if he didn't? That would be horrible.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Well, yeah, these free date ideas, definitely get those because they're phenomenal. They're awesome ideas. So can't wait to get my own and show Angel.
Yeah, right. And thanks to the folks that actually contributed to the list of things that we chose from. So thank you to everybody that contributed and gave us some answers to the surveys. And they were just on, various Facebook pages. So thank you for all of that. And we do want to know too, if you still have more stories, share them with us. Put it in the comments. Send a direct message to us. Email us at Coffee with the Queens at the website. Anything that you can to smoke signal. Give us some success stories, even if you've tried some of these dates and you like them. Let us know. We'd like to give you a good shout out on the show.
And this show is sponsored by Tammy.
Oh, and Ducks in a Row we've alluded to this a couple of times. So if you're new with us, you need to check out Ducks in a Row. Ducks in a Row is our program that we are building. And you guys, this is taking so long because it is so robust. We have so many courses, lessons within this program, but it covers empowerment, handling cash, credit, castle, and kingdom. So meaning we're delving into everything about how to manage your credit, how to make extra money, how to manage money, how to protect your kingdom, and how to feel empowered in doing that in this course. So please, if you're interested in joining us, we decided to take the journey together and get our ducks in a row together as a team. And we want as many of you to join us as possible so we can all kind of share. It's just a little bit more empowering and a nice little kick in the butt to make sure we get it done all the way through. You heard even Eric was saying that's something we're talking about, right? So all of us have things to do.
All of those things we always do, and especially after 2020 when we might have been a little bit, upset, tossed up and down with our finances or our work situation or our living situation. I know many people that have gone through that and had to do some major shifts and changes, and that may have brought some stuff to the stuff to the top there for people. And so if there are things that you are looking at and you don't know exactly how to get those things in order, how to protect things, how to improve your credit. So maybe you do want to buy yourself a house out in the country. Some more space is what people want, right? We just did a show on mortgages, and that's the reason why there's a lot of people that are changing the way they're living. And a lot of that has to do with the things that we're covering and get your ducks in a row. So.
Yay. And you have a quote from the book, right? So if anyone wants that down.
I do. I have a quote from the book that we gave away today. And here's our quote for today. It is our fabulous, fabulous female Audrey Hepburn. Just a great human and incredibly gorgeous inside out. And her quote is, "The best thing to hold on to in life is each other."
Well, I love it.
Oh, everybody said, oh.
Beautiful. I love that. Yeah,
Well,
because
ladies-
in the end, that's all you have is each other.
That's right. So if you'd love to have more information or just put a stake in the ground, just go ahead and contact us about the Ducks in a Row series. If you want to have the free book, that is up on the screen right now. Book. Text book to 833-998-0553. Get your free date idea so that you can have an awesome celebration without waking up with a headache over how much you have spent. So we're protecting your heart finance, your heart health and your financial health at the same time by giving you this little book. And so for our next show, please join us. We're talking with Danny Kalafil, boxing ring to boardroom. He was a successful boxer and he made the transition into successful businessman. We're going to learn a lot from him. So I'm really looking forward to that. So make sure that you join us. If any of this has been helpful to you or any of our other shows, please check them out. They're all up on our YouTube channel. Please share and subscribe, because when we hear from you and we see your likes on certain things, that's how we know what to build into the rest of our season here at Coffee with the Queens. So thank you guys so much. And let me tell you, it has been an honor to be here with you ladies and you that are watching. Thank you so much. For now, we're wrapping up.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.